This is Heavy Conversation with Bruce and Jody, a podcast where we talk about being a big guy in today's world. I'm Bruce. And I'm Jody. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go. What's up, Bruce?
Jody. We're back.
Woo-hoo.
Been an action-packed week.
I was texting you this morning. I'm like, for some reason, my brain can't remember that we record on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
I am so busy lately. I'm like, oh, my good thing that's a reminder in my phone.
Right. I know.
Do this morning. Just like, oh, I'm gonna go do this and get this done. Oh Lord.
Yeah. We used to record on a different day, and so now, it's taking a little time. Thankful for the calendar, though.
Yes.
Yeah. So no, it's been an interesting week. The Chubster podcast launched, and I will say that last week in our episode I did just call it the Chubster podcast. That is not actually the name of the podcast, but when we recorded I was not sure
you had nailed it down.
Yeah, so it's actually called Life in Your Size, and that's the tagline for Chubster since the beginning. So it just felt right to kind of make that the name of the podcast. The first episode is out. Jeff Jenkins, I won't jump into that, but it's cool to have it done and have it out there.
Yeah, congrats.
Thanks.
You finally got another baby.
Man, I know.
You've been working on this one for a while.
For a long time.
Talking about it and thinking about it.
And we were just talking about that before we started recording, how it's just like at some point you just have to go. It's really easy for me to get caught up in my head and say, well, it's got to be perfect. It's got to be this and that. And finally, it just kind of clicked with me last week that I was like, no, it doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be like honest and real, and everything else will come together over time. So that's the thing. Check it out. It's Life in Your Size. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Google,
wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yes, wherever you listen to your podcasts. So it's out there. I'm sure it will change and evolve as time goes on, but the interview is there. Check it out.
Nice. Yeah, it's definitely takes a lot of work whenever you're starting something new.
Totally.
Like you just at some point, you just gotta do it, put it out there, do whatever it is, and then you can figure things out along the way, make it better, whatever kind of new habits you're trying to do or a new skill you want to learn. You're not going to be perfect right away, but that's how you learn. So
it is. And that's the thing, is that it's very easy to let like fear or apprehension stop you from doing something, but you shouldn't. Sometimes just taking that step and getting something out is the way to do it. So so that's kind of where it's at, and I'm excited about some of the future episodes, some of the upcoming things. It's not all interviews, so there are going to be some stories. There's going to be trying some new and different things, kind of, not just me, but other people kind of sharing their stories as well. So it's a lot, but I'm excited.
Nice.
Yes. And I'm also excited for the airing of grievances that we're going to be doing today on this episode.
Y'all ready? We're about to tear another brand apart
So it's one of those things where, yes, it sounds like you will be talking about a specific brand, but it's not just one brand that does this. And we talk about this a lot, where it's almost like performative inclusion, where a company will come out and say, we're doing big and tall, or we're extending our sizes, and they'll be like, now we have double X, and they're like, oh, or they might use a model in a photo shoot, but that model is probably a size that can't always find the stuff, or it's there's always these things where it's this performative thing. They'll do a promotion, show a thing, say they've done their jobs, and then you'll never hear about it again, and eventually it goes away, or they just don't get it. It's, if you're going to be inclusive, size inclusive specifically, it's an ongoing process. You got to keep doing it. So
Yeah, so I just since I'm in the underwear universe with Bearskin, I'm following a lot of different brands, seeing, just to see what other people are doing and whatnot. And maybe Bruce, you didn't had never heard of this company, but
No, I hadn't.
if you're in the LGBTQIA plus community, you probably have heard of this. They're called Andrew Christian. They maybe a few months ago came out with a new campaign, Thick, Andrew Christian Thick. I don't know, whatever.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay. I was actually like, oh, damn, another underwear brand coming into my space, trying to get the plus size community. But I was like, okay, we've been doing this for a while. Let's see what they're going to do. Um, I honestly, and I think a big portion of our community really saw that they missed the mark on a lot of their advertisements and whatnot. For one thing, their Thick brand, it is slightly skewed a little bit larger in the sizing, but it only
Okay.
goes up to a 2X, and their 2X is a 40-42. So
Mm,
it kind of a little small on the size range, but then also only up to a 2X. So if you're
ooh,
gonna call yourself thick and only go to a 2X, I don't know what that's about. So I feel because I'm not gonna fit into that 2X, I know that much.
sure. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
there was also a bunch of um what is it, feedback, criticism online about their actual promotions, their pictures of their models. Of all the models, there's maybe one thick guy in there. There's not a lot of diversity in their diversity campaign, which was kind of a big no from a lot of people online.
Right.
Yeah. What posts include the hashtags body positivity movement and inclusivity is what they're that's what they Andrew Christian had like tweeted out. They hashtag this stuff.
Okay.
And they're also
Sure.
getting a lot of criticism for not having any people of color in their ads.
Ah,
um so it seemed like it really missed the mark in a lot of
sure.
ways, and I was sad and happy at the same time because I'm like, okay, well, they are trying to do it and they're really messing up, which I was
Right.
like, okay,
Bad for them. Good
yeah,
for
bad
you.
for them, good for me.
Right. Right.
Because the reason I saw is because Bearskin got tagged in a lot of the comments, a lot of the posts, like,
Sure.
Bearskin's been doing this since day one.
Right.
They're not trying, they're not being performative in their inclusivity. They're using different body types, tones, all that kind of stuff. So I was
Of
happy that
course.
people had noticed that, but yeah, it was just like
Sure.
another big company trying to do that, trying to get
Sure.
that dollar, but not doing it correct.
Yeah, in my experience with Chubster, learning about brands that are either starting a extended size line or are looking at expanding, I've seen it go both ways. I've definitely seen companies that get into it and have not done the research and don't understand the customer and don't understand what they're looking for. They start to offer extended sizes, but they don't have the models to show what the stuff looks like on a bigger
Mm-hmm,
guy.
mm-hmm.
And when they do, they might have one, they might kind of hide them away. It is, and we've said this, if you've listened to this podcast for any period of time, what I'm about to say. It's a prolonged, ongoing thing. You can't just do one campaign and hope that that gets the job done. And hey, I mean, in this case, who knows? Who knows where it's going to go? Maybe they will take the feedback from customers and do something with that.
Yeah.
For the industry, for this customer in general, I mean, we need options, but we need good options. That's the thing, and it's a lot of companies find out really quickly that if they don't do it right, it doesn't sell, it backfires,
Mm-hmm.
and there have been big businesses that have launched extended size lines without putting a lot of thought and effort into them, and it has failed or it has backfired, and they've had to take things down, and it goes away. And that's bad for them, but it's worse for customers who actually want the stuff. You're looking for a new clothing line with, all to put together a new outfit, and you go to try it, it doesn't fit you when it's supposed to be your size,
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, there's so many things. So yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. And I am all about like trying to support businesses that are trying to get into the plus size world, but it gets harder and harder because they keep doing it so wrong that it's like, oh, do I want to try another brand that's, doesn't have the fit right or whatever? It's like,
Sure.
how many times do we have to keep doing this and not get it right?
Plus size customers get burnt. They're used to being burnt by not
Mm-hmm.
getting clothes that fit them or having bad experiences in stores when they've gone to stores,
Right.
online by ordering things and not having a good experience. And after you're burnt so many times, you start to distrust marketing, and you start to distrust the companies
Right.
that are trying to sell
I think
stuff
I'm
to
that
you.
person. I'm that person. I'm
Right,
burnt.
right. So you really have to do the work to show that you are thinking about this customer, and that you
Mm-hmm.
are
Mm-hmm.
looking at that you understand their needs, and you're able to give them something that's worthwhile. Having sizing first and foremost, having clothes that actually fit bigger bodies is, job number one. You
Yeah.
got to have things that fit. Then you've got to look at how you're doing marketing, and what you're putting out there. Make sure that you have models that are representative to show the stuff. And you have to not just do your one campaign that lasts a month and goes
Yeah.
away. It
Like,
has to be an ongoing thing. You have to have catalog models that
mm-hmm.
are bigger guys. You have to do
Yeah, show it on your website.
right your
Show the
lifestyle
show that.
stuff.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Yeah, when you go to the website. Oh, hi Apple.
Sorry,
Hi Siri.
my watch wanted to chime in.
Yeah, you go to the website and it's like, I mean, for me, he's not a thick guy. I guess for maybe their typical model, he's a little thicker.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, I'm just like,
Right.
okay, well, he's doesn't show what that's gonna look on a big body.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean, I I'm looking at the image now, and it's, I I like seeing that there's a guy who looks very different from the other guys. I'd like to see more.
Yeah.
I have not looked through. I mean, I'm looking now to kind of see what they've got, and it's a start. I
Mm-hmm.
hope that it continues. Like I said, I had never heard of them before you told me about them, and so wasn't familiar with what they offer, or I don't know how long the campaign's been live. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
their
Mm-hmm.
future plans are, but it's hopefully they are going to try and go all in. Hopefully they're going to extend their sizing past
Mm-hmm.
what they have.
I mean, I'm hoping no.
Right, right, right. Yeah. Me as the
As a
Chubster
consumer,
guy, right,
yes.
right.
Yeah,
As a
yeah.
consumer, as a guy who writes for Chubster, I if I was writing about this, what I would say is, the size ranges. I'd be hard pressed to write about it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
they do go to 3X, it says, but if you look at their fit guide that they have an image of on their product page, it doesn't show 3X. It stops at 2X. And so that's another thing that's confusing, that a lot of brands do. A lot of companies that offer extended sizes, when you check their fit guides, and I know this because I check every fit guide of every
Yep.
place that I go, they stop they don't include those bigger sizes. So you're
Mm-hmm.
having to guess on how something's going to fit, or how a size works. So hopefully that's something that is in front of them, and they make a change there. And not just them, but everybody else who does that. And there are a lot of you out there. So please
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
fix it.
Yeah, and there's not
So
a lot of reviews. There's like one review on each thing. So I'm like, okay, well,
yeah. So I
either
mean,
people aren't buying it or they're just not leaving reviews or what. I don't
yeah. I mean, I'm wondering if, is it because it's new? Is
Well, it
it
looks like I think this came out in like May-ish. So it's
okay?
been a few months.
Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of doing a real time review of their their product offering here, and I mean, I'm looking at it, and another thing that stands out to me is that they do have one model wearing the product in the image and the images. I would definitely like to see um,
Hmm.
the bigger guy in the stuff just by himself standing there in some of these
Yeah.
product images. And I
Well, yeah,
understand
in
that.
some of the images, the big guy's not even wearing the underwear.
Ah, okay,
I'm like,
right,
I mean, because I mean, they are very much about the sex sells kind of thing,
sure,
which is fine. That's their
right.
shtick. But I'm like,
There's definitely a place for that. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, you literally are an underwear company, and then the big guy's not wearing them
Right.
in the campaign. I'm like, okay,
Sure. So
okay, all right.
yeah, I think that's the thing. I think more utilization of that model and other bigger models, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's in their plans. But you know, looking at this and seeing, like, if I get a pitch from this company, and I get a lot of pitches from different companies, and I'm telling you, the vast majority of the pitches I get are from companies that do not have extended sizing. It's ridiculous. So PR people, look at where you're sending things before you send them out,
Uh-huh.
because what a waste of time.
Yeah.
So uh, I'll look at these and I'll say, okay, well, 2x. Well, the average Chubster visitor is between XL and 5x.
Yep.
You know, that is like the vast majority of the people who are visiting and who are definitely buying things through Chubster.
Right.
So if we are only going to 2x, then that is leaving a large amount of the rest of the customer base out, and so
Exactly.
it's a hard sell for me uh to cover it or have somebody cover it or whatever. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, those are always things that I look at, and in some cases I'll write back to whoever pitched me and say, hey, look, this is great, but uh the sizing isn't there. I've had to do that like a handful of times this week, just from
Oh, really?
brands doing that.
Oh,
But the vast majority of the time, if I get something, it's super irrelevant, the sizing isn't there, they're never going to hear from me.
yep.
So
Yep.
you know, things to think about.
Well, I'm thinking about this Symphonic Chronic that I picked up this
Ooh,
morning.
oh, I love that can. So
Yeah,
it's
that
like,
I mean, that's what sold me.
yeah, it's like super colorful. It looks like, kind of looks like a band poster, you know.
Yeah, it's got like
It's
a
like,
weird hop
yeah,
face.
I
There's
know.
a there's
Like,
like a big hop with like a face sort of in it with shades and speakers
yeah,
blaring behind him. I didn't see the 9% ABV on that when I picked that out.
it's a good
So,
way to spend a Wednesday afternoon. That's
oh yeah, it's 12:15, so it's five
yep.
o'clock somewhere else.
That's exactly right. Like Bermuda or something. You know, it's yeah,
Well, yeah, that's very
right.
much makes me think
Exactly.
of Bermuda, the
Yeah.
triangle. Mm.
Sorry if you're hearing that weird noise that sounds like an alien ship is about to land.
Is that your
I
AC
The
kicking off?
AC has kicked on.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't hear anything, but
Yeah. So I
mine's
was
running literally right next to me, so I'm like, well,
when I was recording
whew.
Life in Your Size, I was recording the outro, and right as I it was like right as I finished it, I stopped saying whatever I was saying. It kicked in, and it was just like this crazy loud noise. So if you listen at the very end, you might hear a little bit of it. I tried to cut it
Ooh,
out, but
there's a what do they call it? An Easter egg in there.
yes,
Hear
yes,
the alien landing.
I know my garage. It's definitely not one of those podcast garages that
Oh yeah,
you know,
the whole studio.
yeah, the very popular people have. But you know, it gets the job done.
Right. All right. So this Symphonic Chronic is by Deschutes Brewery. We
Ooh.
are very familiar with that here in the PNW.
Yes.
Wow, they got a lot of different hops in here. Mosaic, Lipomax, Strata, Simcoe, Chinook, and Nugget hops orchestrate an everlasting symphony of dank and tropical tones,
Dank and
creating a
tropical.
yep,
Perfect.
creating a
Yes.
new take on the classic West Coast IPA.
All right.
Yeah, it's very dank and
Yes. It's gonna stick with you, it looks like.
mhm.
I love it. I'm a big fan of the can art. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Good job to shoot. That's what got me to get that one.
That's right. Yes. All right. Well, good. So what do you think after a
Yeah,
couple?
it's good. I would give
Yeah.
it probably a 4. It wasn't that first I was gonna say bite. The
Yeah.
first sip was well, I guess the first sip kind of bit me. It was a
Yes.
little sharp.
Yeah. Kind of a smack in the face. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yes.
it's good.
Well,
I
good.
would drink that again. I'll
There we go.
add it to
Yes.
my list.
All right. Well,
Oh,
good.
can I not add it to my list?
Oh, you'll have to try. And while you're trying that, I'll bring my beer out, which this week is it's called F Cancer India Pale Ale.
Nice, I like it.
And yes, and it comes from Silvermoon Brewing, which is in Bend, Oregon. I've been kind of staying away from Oregon beers lately, but this one felt really appropriate. Just kind of looking back at the last few years of my life and losing people to cancer. Lost somebody very, very close to me in the last couple weeks, and to cancer. So yes, F Cancer. I saw this and had to get it. Belmont Station represent.
Nice. Yep, yep.
Yep. So
Uh-oh, excuse me.
yeah, so it's an IPA. It is a 6% by volume. I also like the can. It looks like it has the. It looks like it's part of a series of
Yeah, they have a bunch of
cans.
different colors.
Yeah, and
Excuse
so
me.
like it says first names JU through PA. So then it's got names of people who have been lost, who were lost to cancer, is what I'm
Okay,
gonna
okay.
guess. And yeah,
Excuse me.
it's pretty cool that they do something like this. The back of it says the F Cancer campaign celebrates all the positive F words of cancer. Fight with all the fortitude you have in you and celebrate the friends and family that are by your side every step of the way. Always keep that fierce spirit alive and find a favorite organization to support through fundraising so we can find a cure for this horrible disease. So,
Awesome.
uh,
That's a nice
yeah,
message.
yes. So a good beer for a good cause, and yeah, you should definitely pick one up if you can.
Nice. I think we must have already had this Dank or
Oh, really?
Symphonic Chronic because that's why I couldn't add it to the list. I'm like,
So,
is my list full? What's happening?
oh yeah. So I'm looking here at some of the names. I see Olivia Newton-John, which just happened to stand out to me on the list.
Yeah.
It's not all famous people, so but
Mhm.
happen to see that, and so there we go.
And it
Um,
says proceeds from every bottle go directly to the American Cancer Society, Western region's efforts towards research, education, advocacy, and local programs and services.
that's great. That's awesome. So yeah, beer for a cause. Always down with that. I think
Yep, yep.
yeah, it's a cause that's near and dear to my heart. So yes, there we go. And it's a good beer. I'm enjoying it. It's got a little bit of a bite to it.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, definitely like it. So 65 IBU, 6% alcohol by volume, F Cancer. And if you want
Here's
to
to
see our,
that.
yes, and if you want to see our beers,
Uh-oh.
you can see them all on Untapped. They are on the
Or at
Heavy
least most of
Conversation.
them.
Yes, most of them are on the Untapped Heavy Conversation beer list.
I don't know why these pictures never turn
So
out. This the light from my window is too bright. I
there
think
we
that's
go.
why.
It's beautiful. There we are. So yeah, check it out. The link will be in the show notes so you can see, what we're drinking and find your favorites or the ones you need to stay away from. So
Mhm.
there you go. Yeah.
There haven't been very many that were like, oh, that was disgusting.
Right.
Not
Sure.
that I can think of off the top of my head, but some of
Yep.
them like, that one is fine.
Yep. Yep. Totally.
I wouldn't
Totally.
be going out and having a bunch of those, but
Agreed.
especially this one,
Yep.
9%. I would probably not have very many of these, but I would drink another one.
There you go. That's good. Yes. Yep. So we've had our beers, back to complaining.
And, we're just
No, we're not, it's not complaining really. It's
giving
just
our
kind of calling
feedback.
out. Yeah, it really is just like spotlighting the things that are issues with extended size lines and with
Mhm.
inclusivity when it comes to bigger people in clothes. And it might sound like complaining, but really it is advocating. We're trying to advocate for the things that we need, and we need clothes that fit, and we need things that represent us well. And uh, that is hard to come by sometimes. So, we got to talk about it. I mean, that's the whole thing. With Chubster, we don't cover brands that don't have a good selection of sizing. If there are problems with it, if it's not a good fit for our readers, then it's not going to end up on the site. We try to make sure that we're doing a little research to understand what the fit's like, and what the clothes, how clothes are made, and all of those things. And
Absolutely.
it's difficult to do some of that research sometimes, but you got to do it, because this is, people are coming to the site because they're looking for things that are going to work for them.
Mhm.
So
We do the
so
hard work.
yes, so you don't have to. Right, right. So yeah, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Just be more thoughtful about it. And if you don't get it right the first time, please be dedicated to fixing it, update it. And we see
Yeah.
that sometimes.
Listen to the feedback. We've
Yes,
done that over the years. We've changed our fit. We've changed some of the cuts on different things. This
totally.
It wasn't 100% perfect. Like, it was really good when we launched it, and it worked for some body types, but not all body types. So we've
Sure.
adjusted things. Yeah, it's like it's
Right.
a constant work in progress of like what people are wearing, how they want it to fit. So we change it and update it a little bit. So
That's the thing, is that if you show that you're dedicated to this and you want to get it right, even if you get it wrong, but you make changes, or try to fix it, then there you go. And it's also, like you said, it's not even getting it wrong. It's like learning as you go along. And
yeah.
I interviewed somebody recently who runs a clothing brand that has been around for a while, and they've done the same thing over the years, where they have kind of taken feedback from customers. And obviously, I think if you're making a product and putting it out, you're going to do that. And if you're doing it right, you're going to do that. And
Yeah, you should be.
yeah, and you'll see that it makes a difference. So uh, I hope that anybody who's getting into the extended size industry, into big and tall, into plus, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
takes those things to heart and actually tries to do it right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, here's to more brands trying it out,
Yes.
getting into the plus size world of fashion. I definitely want to see more, as always. Maybe not more underwear, but that's my own thing.
Understandable.
Just buy bearskin, and that's all you need.
There you go.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
I want more brands to get out there and try it. That's how even more brands will try it.
Yep.
So yeah, and definitely don't be me the burnout of trying new brands. Like, definitely get out there and support those brands that are trying to get into those spaces, because that's how they're going to learn what we want and what we don't want.
Right.
So
It's how we get more stuff.
yeah, it's voting with your dollar, not just your comments online. So
Agreed. Well, there we go. If Are there things that, if you're listening to this, that you want to see more brands do, or things that annoy you that brands that offer extended sizes do? We want to know about it. So, hit us up on social,
yeah,
uh at Heavy Convo. On
yeah,
Are people still
everything.
using Twitter? Is that I feel like
Yeah, I don't
no.
know. We're gonna have to get over to Thread
Yeah, yeah.
or
Threads
something.
is it's been pretty chill so far.
Are you on
Posted
there?
some I posted some
No?
things for Chubster. Just some photos of
Damn it!
some
Now
of
I
my
gotta figure out another platform.
yeah, it's it seems pretty straightforward so far. I mean, it's Twitter, but
Yeah,
but not. So,
but not. Yeah,
a lot of the functionality that Twitter has is not there yet, which, whatever, that's fine. I think um Twitter seems to be. I read an article this morning that was like, Twitter is not being destroyed; it's becoming irrelevant, and that's even worse than having it just destroyed. It's like, is Twitter going to turn into MySpace?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
And then was it Yahoo that bought it, and then somebody else, some famous person bought it?
Yeah, totally.
Anyways.
It's gone everywhere. So yeah. So
well, hit us up wherever you can find us.
Yeah, send us messages. You can hit us at all those different places, and obviously Bearskin, Chubster,
Yeah.
So yes, hit us up.
Well, thanks, Bruce. Thanks for coming along on this ride again.
It was fun.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Heavy Conversation. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.